Chosen one, why are your hands trembling right now? Why did your chest tighten the moment you saw this title? Why, out of the million videos flooding your screen tonight, did your finger stop scrolling here? You think it's coincidence? You think the algorithm brought you? No, chosen one. The angels intercepted you. Heaven redirected your attention, because what you're about to hear isn't information, it's revelation. And the divine courtroom has been waiting for you to arrive. You didn't stumble on this message. Heaven summoned you here, because the test you thought would break you, it's already been graded. The trial you thought would destroy you, God just reviewed the results. And beloved, you passed. But here's what's going to shake you to your core. Everything you endured wasn't random chaos. It was a hidden examination. Every betrayal was a question. Every heartbreak was a pop quiz. Every moment you chose faith, when your flesh screamed quit, that was the final exam. And tonight, the heavens are opening the sacred scroll with your name written across the top, and the grade beside it reads, Approved. Can you feel it? That weight settling over your chest right now. That's not anxiety, beloved. That's the gravity of divine truth pressing against a lifetime of lies you believed about yourself. You thought you failed. You thought you weren't enough. You thought God moved on to someone more qualified. But the midnight summons has arrived. The courtroom doors have swung open. And you, yes, you are being called forward to hear the verdict you've been terrified to face. Before I go one word further, let me pause and honor something sacred. Thank you to every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling, who are sitting in the dark right now, wondering if God still sees them. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and sow that seed of faith right now. You're planting in kingdom ground. Now, if your spirit already feels this truth stirring, if something inside you is screaming, yes, this is for me, type 777 inches, the comments below, not as superstition, as agreement. You're telling heaven, I'm ready to hear what you've been waiting to say. And hit that subscribe button right now, not to a channel but to a movement of awakening. Because thousands of chosen ones around this nation are being summoned at this exact moment, and you need to be locked in to what the Spirit is releasing. Chosen one, do you feel it? That whisper underneath your thoughts right now? This is different. This isn't another message. Something real is happening. You're right. Because tonight isn't about motivation. Tonight is about activation. The divine scroll with your name on it is opening. The sacred courtroom is in session. And God is speaking through me to tell you something. He's been holding back until now, until you were strong enough to handle it without breaking. You didn't just survive the test. You mastered it. And everything you've been waiting for is about to be released. Not tomorrow, not next month, tonight, right here, right now. But I need you to stay with me till the very end, because this message, this divine word, will shatter every delay, silence every doubt, and unlock the destiny you thought you'd forfeited. The heavens waited until now to speak, and before this hour is over, you'll understand exactly why. Your summons has arrived, chosen one. Will you answer? Why do you wake at 3 a.m. with tears already on your pillow before you're even fully conscious? Why does your own family look at you like a stranger at the dinner table, their laughter a foreign language you can no longer speak? Why, after 60, 70, 80 years of breathing, does it still feel like you're drowning? You thought something was wrong with you. You thought you'd failed some cosmic equation. But what if I told you that every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every rejection that carved your heart into pieces was never random? What if it was never punishment at all? Listen to me, beloved. Every tear that soaked your pillow at dawn was being collected in heaven's bottles. Every moment you whispered, "God, are you there?" Into the suffocating silence he was there. Recording, grading, watching you take the most important exam of your life without even knowing the test had begun. You thought you were being abandoned. You were being prepared. Think about Joseph, 17 years old, dreaming of greatness while his father's favorite. Then the pit, the chains, the slave auction where he was sold like cattle. 13 years in Egypt, stolen from everything he knew, falsely accused by a woman whose lies should have buried him forever, forgotten in a dungeon so dark he couldn't see his own hands. Do you think Joseph understood why his brother's hatred felt sharper than any knife? Do you think he knew, rotting in that prison, that every betrayal was building something inside him that comfort could never forge? That palace wasn't his destiny until the pit had done its work. Every rejection was positioning him. Every closed door was redirecting him. Every year of injustice was developing the character that could handle unlimited power without losing his soul. How many of you right now are carrying the weight of prodigal children who've turned their backs on everything you taught them? You lie awake replaying every conversation, every decision, wondering where you went wrong. Your grandchildren are strangers. Your own flesh and blood feel like foreigners. What if this pain isn't punishment? What if your broken heart is qualifying you for an assignment bigger than your bloodline? Or maybe it's your body that's betrayed you. The doctor's appointments that steal your Tuesdays. The prescriptions lined up on your counter like soldiers you never wanted to command. The mirror that shows you a stranger with your eyes. You thought growing old meant growing irrelevant. But let me shatter that lie with one name: Moses. 80 years old when God called him to the burning bush. 80. While everyone else was planning retirement and reminiscing about better days, God was saying, now I can use you. Now you're ready for the greatest liberation in human history. Moses thought he was wasting away, tending sheep in obscurity. But God was building something that 40 years in Pharaoh's palace couldn't touch: the humility and patience to lead 2 million complaining people through a wilderness. You're not too old, you're seasoned, like oak that only grows stronger with time, like wine that only becomes valuable through years of pressure in the dark. Your wrinkles aren't evidence of decay, they're battle scars from a war heaven needed you to win. Think about Job. A righteous man who lost everything in a single day. His wealth gone, his children dead, his health destroyed. His wife told him to curse God and die. His friends accused him of secret sins. And God? God stayed silent while Job sat in the ashes, scraping his boils with broken pottery. But here's what hell didn't understand. They weren't destroying Job. They were revealing what was already there. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. That's not defeat. That's the declaration of a man who discovered his foundation went so deep even hell couldn't shake it. Your pain wasn't trying to kill you. It was revealing who you are underneath everything the world tried to tell you about yourself. Every time you chose faith when logic screamed quit, that was a test question. Every moment you forgave when justice demanded revenge graded. Every morning you got out of bed when your body begged to stay down, recorded in heaven's archives. What if none of it was wasted? Romans 8:28 doesn't say some things. It says, all things work together for good to those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. All things. The cancer diagnosis, the foreclosure, the funeral, the phone call that changed everything, the betrayal that still makes your chest tighten. All things. You passed, chosen one. You didn't just survive, you graduated. And every hardship was a divine exam heaven designed for your promotion. Now, pause this video. I need you to do something. Type these words in the comments. I passed the test, not as a boast, but as an agreement with heaven. Let the angels see your faith made visible. Because when you declare it, something shifts in the spiritual realm. But here's the question that's going to determine your next season. What happens now that you know? Heaven has been grading your obedience in silence. Every tear you cried alone at 3 a.m., recorded. Every bill you paid when your account hit zero, witnessed. Every moment you whispered, "I trust you," Lord, when your heart was screaming the opposite, graded. You thought silence meant absence. You thought God turned his back when the prayers bounced back unanswered. You thought maybe, just maybe, you'd been disqualified, forgotten, left behind while others got their breakthroughs. But listen to me, chosen one. Silence didn't mean absence, it meant observation. God wasn't ignoring you, he was studying you, watching how you'd respond when the lights went out, measuring your faithfulness when no one was applauding, testing whether you'd worship him for who he is or only for what he gives. Think about Abraham. God told him to sacrifice Isaac, the son he waited 25 years for. The promise made flesh, and Abraham raised that knife. Genesis 22:12 says, "Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." God wasn't being cruel, he was grading. And Abraham, he passed with honors. Consider David, anointed as king at 17, didn't sit on the throne until he was 30. 13 years of running, hiding, sleeping in caves, while Saul hunted him like an animal. 13 years of wondering, "God, did you forget what Samuel said over me?" But 1 Samuel 13:14 reveals the truth. The Lord has sought out a man after his own heart. David wasn't being punished in those caves. He was being prepared. Every lion he killed in private was training for the Goliath he'd face in public. Look at Esther, an orphan girl who became queen not for comfort, but for crisis. "For such a time as this," Mordecai told her. Esther 4:14. Her entire life was a divine setup. Every hardship, every loss, every moment of obscurity was heaven's curriculum preparing her to save a nation. You see the pattern? The test was never meant to destroy you. The test was your tutor. And beloved, you didn't just survive. You graduated from heaven's wilderness university. You earned your degree in faith when doubt was the easier choice. You mastered perseverance when quitting had 1,000 logical reasons. You became fluent in worship when worship made no earthly sense. This is your divine graduation ceremony. Can you see it? The heavenly auditorium, angels in attendance, the cloud of witnesses standing to their feet, your name being called from the throne room, not in judgment, in celebration. The Father places the cap of authority on your head, the robe of righteousness around your shoulders, and the trumpet sounds not in warning, but in announcement. This one passed, this one endured, this one is approved. Malachi 3:3 says, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver." You weren't burned, beloved. You were refined. Forged in fire like gold that comes out purer, stronger, more valuable than before. Heaven whispered your name, and the angels applauded. Can you hear it? Even now, in the stillness of this moment, that's not your imagination. That's the sound of divine approval echoing from eternity into your living room. If you can feel that shift in your spirit right now, if something inside you just broke open, lift your hand right where you are. Your living room just became a sanctuary. Your kitchen table just became an altar. Because when heaven graduates you, every space you occupy becomes holy ground. But here's what changes everything. Graduation isn't the end. It's the beginning. You've been qualified. Now you're about to be deployed. And what's coming next will make everything you've survived look like basic training for the mission God's about to release. Why now? Why not 10 years ago, when you still had energy to burn? Why not 20 years ago, when your body wasn't aching and your knees didn't creak every morning? Why didn't God answer you when you were younger, stronger, when the world still believed in you? Because, chosen one, when heaven promotes too early, blessings crush the vessel. Listen to me. You've been angry at God's timing. You've wept over his delays. You've watched younger people step into opportunities you prayed for, and you wondered if God had forgotten your address. But what if I told you that every single year you waited was God building the spine to carry the crown he's about to place on your head? You weren't ready then. You're ready now. Think about it. What would have happened if you got that breakthrough at 40 when your character was still unrefined? If you received that influence at 30 when your ego was still hungry for applause? If God gave you wealth at 25 when your heart was still chasing the approval of people who would have destroyed you, you would have collapsed under the weight of a blessing your soul wasn't strong enough to steward. But God, oh chosen one, God loved you too much to give you what you wanted before you were ready for what you needed. Look at Joseph, 17 years old with a dream from heaven, sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused, forgotten in a prison cell for years. Do you think Joseph understood why God let him rot in that dungeon? Do you think he saw the divine strategy while rats crawled across his feet and his dreams turned to dust? No, he felt abandoned. He felt forgotten. He felt like God had made a promise and broken it. But Genesis 50-20 reveals the truth that will shake you. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Every year in that pit was building his compassion. Every night in that prison was deepening his wisdom. Every betrayal was stripping away his pride, until all that remained was a man who could handle unlimited power without losing his soul. The pit wasn't punishment. It was preparation for the palace. You were hidden, not forgotten, delayed, not denied. And here's the truth that's going to wreck you. You weren't buried in dirt. You were buried in destiny. You see, when a farmer buries a seed, it looks like death. The seed disappears into darkness. It's covered with soil. It's invisible to everyone. And if that seed could speak, it would scream, "I'm dying. God has abandoned me. This is the end." But the farmer knows something the seed doesn't. This isn't death. This is germination. The seed had to be buried so it could break open. It had to be hidden so its roots could grow deep. It had to be covered so the sun wouldn't scorch it before it was strong enough to rise. That's been your life, chosen one. You thought you were being buried. God was planting you. Every tear watered your roots. Every rejection forced you to dig deeper into his presence. Every closed door pushed your faith further into the soil of surrender until you stopped trusting your own strength and learned to draw life from his spirit alone. Look at Anna the prophetess, 84 years old, widowed after just 7 years of marriage, spent decades in the temple, fasting, praying, waiting for the Messiah. Can you imagine, year after year, watching the sun rise and set, whispering the same prayers, believing for a promise she couldn't see? The world saw an old widow. God saw a woman whose roots had grown so deep that when the Messiah finally arrived, she was the first to recognize him. Her waiting wasn't wasted. It was worship that positioned her for divine recognition. And Sarah, 90 years old when God opened her barren womb. 90. Do you know what that means? 60 years of waiting. 60 years of watching other women cradle babies while her arms stayed empty. 60 years of shame, disappointment, whispered doubts. But when Isaac finally came, he wasn't just a baby. He was the seed of nations. He was the answer to a promise so massive that only a woman refined by 6 decades of faith could handle it without breaking. The delay didn't deny her destiny. It developed it. Right now, you're on the edge of your seat because something in your spirit is screaming, "This is me. This is my story." You're feeling that earthquake rumble deep in your chest because heaven is rolling away the stone that's kept you hidden. You weren't buried to stay down. You were planted to break through. And now, right now, this very moment, heaven is speaking over your life. It's time. The seed is splitting open. The cocoon is cracking. The sun is rising after the longest night you've ever walked through. And what's about to emerge from your season of hiddenness is going to silence every voice that said you were finished. Type in the comments right now, "It's my time." Say it out loud. Declare it over your life. Because what you speak, heaven establishes. What you believe in this moment becomes the atmosphere of your breakthrough. Own it, chosen one. The waiting wasn't wasted. The delay was divine design. And the seed that was buried in darkness is about to explode into a harvest this world has never seen. Now the question isn't, why did God make you wait? The question is, are you ready for what He's been preparing you to carry? Chosen one, I need you to understand something that's going to completely shatter everything you thought about this season of your life. Your wilderness license has just expired. That survival mode you've been operating in for the last decade. That season of barely scraping by, of holding on with white knuckles, of whispering, "I can make it one more day." That chapter didn't just close. God Himself ripped the final page out and set it on fire. Because you're not moving into another year of survival, you're stepping into divine stewardship. You're transitioning from the valley of endurance to the mountain of authority. And I need you to feel the weight of what I'm about to say. The same God who called Moses from obscurity at 80 years old is calling you right now to light torches for the next generation. Listen to me carefully, dear friend. While the world told you to retire, to slow down, to fade quietly into the background, heaven has been preparing you for the most explosive season of your entire existence. Every scar you carry, every battle you survived, every tear you cried in secret, that wasn't your ending. That was your training. Joel 2:25 declares, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." But this isn't just restoration, beloved. This is divine compensation. God is about to pay you back for every injustice, every stolen opportunity, every closed door, every rejected application. And He's paying with interest that compounds in the supernatural. That financial devastation in 2008, God recorded it. That health crisis that drained your savings, heaven took notes. That betrayal that cost you everything, the Almighty witnessed it all. And right now, the divine accountant is calculating your compensation package, and it's going to leave you speechless. Malachi 3:10 promises, "I will open the windows of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." Not trickle, not drip, pour, like Niagara Falls crashing into your life with such force that you'll need help managing what's coming. Your wealth is being restored. Your health is being renewed. Your voice that was silenced is being amplified. Your influence that was buried is being resurrected. This is your season of overflow. But here's what's shaking me to my core right now. God just whispered something to my spirit that I need to speak directly to the seniors in this room. To those of you who thought your time had passed, to those who believed your best years were behind you, to those who've been told by society that you're winding down. You're not winding down, you're winding up. You think you're fading into the sunset. No, beloved, you're the sun after the storm. Your glow isn't dimming. It's about to become so radiant that your grandchildren will ask, "What happened to you?" Your neighbors will whisper, "Something's different." Even your own mirror will reflect back someone you barely recognize. Moses was 80 when he faced Pharaoh. Caleb was 85 when he said, "Give me this mountain." Anna was 84 when she recognized the Messiah in the temple. Your age isn't your disqualification, it's your coronation. Every wrinkle on your face is a medal of honor. Every gray hair is a trophy of endurance. Every limitation you think you have is actually proof that when God moves through you, nobody can deny it's supernatural. America needs your voice right now. This nation is hemorrhaging hope. Your grandchildren need your wisdom in a world drowning in noise. The next generation needs proof that the fire still burns, and you, dear one, are walking, breathing evidence that God hasn't abandoned his people. You are not a relic, you are a resource. You're not outdated, you're ordained for such a time as this. So right now, I need you to do something that's going to change everything. I need you to comment below. I accept the mission. Not tomorrow when you feel ready. Not next week when you pray about it. Right now, because heaven is watching. Angels are leaning in. The cloud of witnesses who went before you are cheering. And God himself is waiting for you to agree with what he's already declared over your life. Type it. I accept the mission. And then I need you to send this message to one person, just one who needs to remember they passed the test. Someone who's sitting in doubt right now, wondering if their life still matters. Your obedience could be the spark that ignites their awakening. Because this isn't just about you getting blessed. This is about you becoming a blessing carrier, a torch lighter, a generation shifter. The throne room is open. Your crown is waiting. Your assignment has been released. Will you answer the call? Chosen one, as we reach the end of this sacred encounter, I need you to hold 3 eternal truths close to your heart like treasures that will sustain you in the days ahead. First, remember this. You passed the test. Everything you endured, every betrayal, every closed door, every tear-soaked pillow, every moment you wanted to quit but didn't, that wasn't punishment. That was your divine examination. And heaven just posted your results. Approved. You didn't just survive, beloved. You graduated with honors. Second, understand this deeply. Your wilderness season has expired. You're no longer operating in survival mode. You're stepping into stewardship, into authority, into the overflow that Joel 2:25 and Malachi 3:10 promised. The years the locusts ate are being restored with supernatural interest. Your compensation package from heaven is already being processed. And third, never forget, you are not alone in this journey. The same God who called Moses at 80, who gave Abraham a son at 100, who anointed David as a forgotten shepherd boy, that same God is working in your life right now, in this very moment. He hasn't brought you this far to abandon you at the threshold of your greatest victory. But beyond God's faithfulness, you have something precious right here. Look at this community in the comments below. These aren't just strangers on a screen. These are your spiritual brothers and sisters who understand the weight you carry, who've walked similar valleys, who believe in your calling, even when doubt tries to silence you. We are here. We see you. We will pray with you. So let me ask you one final question that will echo in your spirit long after you close this video. Now that you know who you really are, chosen, approved, commissioned for divine assignment, how will you walk tomorrow morning when you wake up? Before you answer, I want you to join me in prayer. Wherever you are right now, in your living room, lying in bed, sitting in your car during lunch break, let me place my hand on your shoulder through these words and pray over your life with the authority of 5 decades walking with the Almighty. Heavenly Father, I lift up every precious soul who has stayed with us through this entire journey. Lord, you see them, not just their pain but their potential, not just their scars but their strength, not just their past but their purpose. Tonight, I pray you would silence every voice of doubt that whispers you're not enough. Break every chain of fear that has held them captive. Open their eyes to see the doors you're already opening, the provision you're already releasing, the destiny you're already unveiling. Father, place your mighty hand upon them right now. Let them feel your presence like a warm embrace. Where they feel depleted, restore them. Where they feel forgotten, remind them of their worth. Where they feel overwhelmed, be their strength. I speak healing over their bodies, renewed vitality, supernatural health, strength for the journey. I speak abundance over their finances, divine provision, unexpected blessings, overflow they cannot contain. I speak restoration over their relationships, reconciliation, divine connections, love that reflects your heart. Give them courage to step into their assignment, wisdom to steward their blessings, and faith to trust your timing even when they can't see the full picture. Let them wake each morning knowing this is the day you have made for their breakthrough. Let them sleep each night in perfect peace, knowing you are working while they rest. Most of all, Father, remind them daily, they are chosen, they are loved, they are never alone. In Jesus' mighty name, I seal this prayer. Amen. Now, beloved, I need to hear from you. In the comments below, share what God spoke to your heart tonight. Tell us what you're believing Him for in this season. Ask for prayer if you need it. This community will surround you with intercession. And please, share this message with someone who's sitting in doubt right now, wondering if their life still matters. Your obedience could be the spark that ignites their awakening. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. Thank you for opening your heart to receive what heaven wanted to pour into you. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because your breakthrough journey is just beginning, and there's so much more God wants to reveal to you. Remember, chosen one, you passed. Your mission is waiting, and the God who called you is faithful to complete what He started. Until we meet again, walk in the authority of who you are. You are chosen, you are approved, you are commissioned, and you are never, ever alone. God bless you abundantly,